Hello, and this is Mrs. Slater, and in the 3.9 notes we're going to talk about composition of functions. So tomorrow when we come into class there will be a warm-up for you to follow, and it's going to look like this. So anytime it has a smiley face, go ahead and write that down and then be ready to answer those questions tomorrow. So there are 3 of them. Push pause and have them ready for tomorrow. So the main focus of today's lesson is like a double function machine, aka the composition of functions. Now you're thinking, wait a minute, what does this mean? Sometimes machines have 2 things or 3 things or 4 things that happen in them. So if you can picture this as a machine, imagine that the first one melts the hole with the flame, and then the second one drills the hole a little bigger. Okay, which ends up with the ending result, which is what you want, right? That you don't have to write this down. What you see at the end of the drilled hole, and you may think that should work for wood or metal, but if you put wood into G of F in the first function, then it would make a fire and burn everything down. So you've got to be very specific on what the order is, and so whatever happens inside the machine is very important. So let's go back to composition of functions. Again, think of it as a machine. You are trying to find out, and here's a notation, f of g of 4 is a way to say I'm going to take 4 and plug it in for g, and then find out what that is, and then plug that value in for the f function. So take a look at this. 4 plugged in to the x in these 2 places. You can solve it just on the right side, and you get negative 13. So g of 4 equals negative 13. So we have just figured out what the inside is. Now we're going to take it to the f function, which was what we're going to plug in, which would be f of negative 13 equals 2 times negative 13 plus 3. Okay, so then when you find that result, again, only on the right side, you're going to slide this over, and voila, you get 23. So that means the answer to this first one right here, the first one that we were trying to find, the answer is 23, negative 23. So we would write it in this way. Okay, so I want you to look at the next one, and we're going to plug f of 4 in. Now it's g. If you look up here, this is what we're trying to find, g of f of 4. So we're going to take 4 and plug it in, and go ahead and push pause and see if you can solve this one. Okay, so now that you're back, let's see how you did. F of 4, plug in the 4, you end up with 8 plus 3, which is 11. So f of 4 equals 11. So now we're going to take that information and plug it in to the g function. So 11, it would be g of 11 equals negative 3 times 11 minus 1, which equals negative 33 minus 1 for a final answer of negative 34. And that is correct. Let's go ahead and go on to the next one. I'm going to have you push pause again, and I want you to solve the 2 equations. We will talk about these in class tomorrow, so have your work already ready to go. In the next type of double function machine, this time there is going to be an x in the very beginning of what we're trying to find. So then that means we are trying to form the graph when you take the 2 graphs and put them together. Okay, so let's start with the first one. Again, we're going to be working inside out. Notice it says g of x on the inside, so that's why we're starting with g of x at the beginning. So g of x equals a negative 3x minus 1. So that's all you really can do with that. But we're going to take that and plug it into this one. And what that looks like is both places where you see an x, it's getting replaced with that negative 3x minus 1 in both spots. Okay, so now all we have to do is simplify, and we only have to worry about the right side. So let's go ahead and try it and then check our answer. So 2, got a little distributed property here, negative 6x minus 2, and then plus 3, and then it'd be negative 6x plus 1. Alright, so let's check our answer. And we are correct. And then again, if you're trying to find anything with of x, you're going to have x in your answer. Okay, so let's go ahead and try the next one, which is g of f of x. So f of x is going to have to get plugged into g. So we start with that, and we're going to, there it is. We're going to move this over into this equation. So the 2x plus 3 is going to go in everywhere we see an x. So I'm going to put that down there. And it will look like this. It's very small writing, but it says negative 3 times 2x plus 3 minus 1. So we'll have to solve for that on the right side only. Negative 6x minus 9 minus 1. Negative 6x minus 10. And we can reveal the answer. And looks like we are correct. And finally, I would like you to practice compositions. There are 2 examples. One I've already started for you, and the next one you're on your own, and then tomorrow when we talk about this in class, we will be checking on the graphing calculator, and I'm going to show you that as well. So make sure you're bringing your graphing calculator.